It's time for some playoff hockey, boys. The NHL playoffs officially get underway tonight, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Regular season hockey, it's fine. It's exciting at certain points, but it does not match up to playoff hockey at all. The intensity level, the excitement level, it's going to be a good playoffs this year, and there's a lot of good stories. First, as a Leaf fan, I gotta mention this. My young Toronto Maple Leafs making it into the playoffs, only to match up against the best team in the NHL, the President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals and Alexander Ovechkin. But you know what? It's still a good story for the young Leafs. We can get our ass whooped in 4 games and take it as a learning experience and come back for next year that much stronger, right? And speaking of the Washington Capitals, is this the year they finally, with Alexander Ovechkin, get past the damn second round? How about the Pittsburgh Penguins? Will they be able to repeat what they did in 08-09 by making it back to the Stanley Cup Finals in back-to-back years? And if they make it back there, they want to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, so that's interesting. How about the Western Conference and the best team in the West, the Chicago Blackhawks? You think they have the possibility to win their 4th Stanley Cup since 2010? Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, 4-time Stanley Cup winners? Not a lot of people are talking about the Blackhawks, right? And then, how about all the Canadian teams in the playoffs this year? You got the Calgary Flames, you got the Montreal Canadiens, you got the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid, you got the Toronto Maple Leafs, like I mentioned, you got the Ottawa Senators. It's going to be a good playoff run this year, boys. And just like every year, we're going to take the simulation from the current EA Sports hockey game, which this year is NHL 17, and we're going to try to predict who's going to win this year's Stanley Cup. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know, for anyone who watches my GM mode commentaries or Be a Pro, we have our own edited roster. I did not want to use that edited custom roster for this playoff simulation, so I've gone ahead and loaded in EA Sports' most recent roster update. I believe it's from March 3rd or something like that, after the trade deadline. Okay, so those are the rosters we are using. This is a new setup as well for this playoff simulation. I haven't seen this before. I've already gone through to make sure I don't gaff it up. We should be good. There's no way to actually take a look at the lines, I don't think. Hang on. Before we get into this, if I go to team stats, will it show like the lineups? I don't even think I can show the lineups for each team here, boys. So we're just gonna have to go into it. Here, your player stats. Will it show me from here? If I know I want to be able to show you guys just the top tier players of every team before we start simulating. So like the Anaheim Ducks, no, we can't even take a look at the players just yet because we haven't recorded any points. All right, so scrap that idea, boys. You guys know who's on your favorite teams. Just use your imagination. So let us start up round number 1 of the 2017 NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. And I think what we do here is I just go through one game at a time for each series. So yeah, game 1 between Nashville and the Chicago Blackhawks. If I gotta, we'll do a little prediction in this video as well. If I gotta predict between these two, I'm gonna go with the Blackhawks. Not much of a prediction right there, right? So simulate to next game. Let's see. And Chicago takes game number 1. Then you got the Anaheim Ducks hosting the Calgary Flames. Now, I believe it was 2014. The Flames just beat the Canucks in round number 1, and they matched up against the Ducks in round number 2. They beat them in 4 or 5 games. So I'm gonna go back with the Ducks again. I think the Ducks, much more a veteran team, much more experienced team. So simulate to the next game. Calgary takes game number 1. Interesting. Now the Leafs versus the Capitals. I almost jinxed the crap out of my young Leafs when I said 2017 was going to be a great year. So no prediction for this series at all, okay? We're just going to go through it. Sim to the next game, and the Capitals take the first game. All right, so Montreal versus New York. Interesting one. If Carey Price is godlike price, then they're going to win it. But if Carey Price is average price, I'm going to give it to the New York Rangers, okay? So not really much of a prediction there. Sim to the next game. Let's see what happens. The New York Rangers are going to take game number 1. St. Louis Blues versus the Minnesota Wild. This is a rough series because both of these teams, it's almost like they're due to go at least to the Western Conference Finals. The poor Blues, they keep getting kicked out, and the poor Minnesota Wild, they can't get past the Chicago Blackhawks, right? So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wild just because Devin Dubnyk and that Vezina baby, if he plays. So simulate to the next game. Let's see what happens. And the Minnesota Wild take game number 1. This is going to be an interesting series. The best team in the Western Conference last year that made it to the Stanley Cup Final, the San Jose Sharks, going up against Connor McJesus and the Edmonton Oilers. And this is McDavid's first chance to play in the playoffs during the NHL. I mean, this is going to be a good series to watch, boys. I don't know. I'm going to give it to the veteran Sharks, even though, there are certain stats that I look for in teams coming into the playoffs, and there's one stat that I don't like, and that is teams coming into the playoffs cold. The San Jose Sharks are coming into the playoffs with a record of 4-6 in their last 10. The Edmonton Oilers coming into the playoffs with a record of 8-2 in their last 10. Does that mean anything? I don't know. But, you know what? I'm going to go with the Oilers. I think there's an upset to happen here. Sim to the next game. All right, even though they have home ice advantage, I still think the San Jose Sharks are the favorites. I'm going to give it to the Oilers, all right? So Edmonton takes game number 1. You got the Blue Jackets versus the Penguins. You know, you take away the Blue Jackets 17 game winning streak. They're just above 500, or they're like 8 games above 500, so not just above 500. I'm going to give it to the Pittsburgh Penguins, all right? So sim to the next game. Let's see what happens. Pittsburgh takes it 1-0. And this last series, Boston versus Ottawa. Too close to call here. They need Carlson to really step up. Sim to the next game. Let's see. And the Boston Bruins take it. So there are all of the first games. We're not going to make predictions for every single one. Let's go through the second game for every single series here, okay? And let's see if I can do it nice and quickly. Yeah, I can do it pretty quick. And then we can just do the summary afterwards, all right? So I'm keeping my eyes focused on what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the results of the games just yet. We'll take a look at them right now, okay? So, the Nashville Predators tied up the series against the Blackhawks. The Calgary Flames 2-0 over Anaheim. The Washington Capitals 2-0 over Toronto, yeah. 1-1 series tie for both Montreal, New York, St. Louis, Minnesota, and Edmonton, San Jose, I should say. Pittsburgh's got a 2-0 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the series is tied between Ottawa and Boston. All right, so let's just keep this up, boys. We'll go through all the games once again. I'm hoping my Leafs can at least get back in that series, man. The Leafs got to win one game at home just so I can have a good night of drinking. Come on now, Toronto, you can do it. All right, so game 3 for every single series. The Nashville Predators have taken a 2-1 series lead. The Calgary Flames, they had a 2-0 series lead. The Anaheim Ducks get right back in it. Ooh, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they get one game on home ice. Beautiful. All right, I like that. Montreal Canadiens, they are leading the New York Rangers 2-1. St. Louis over Minnesota 2-1. San Jose over Edmonton, the veteran team, 2-1. Pittsburgh up 3-0 over Columbus. Yeah, that's not looking good for Columbus. And Ottawa up 2-1 over Boston. All right, let's keep it going. Sim to the next game. All right. Yeah, fly through this. As we get, I think what I'll do for the Stanley Cup Final as well, because we can actually go into the games and simulate just like our GM modes, I'll do that. There's no way I can do it for every single series and every single team and every single game. It'll take way too long. So look at this. The Nashville Predators, a wild card team, has the best team in the Western Conference. The Chicago Blackhawks with their backs up against the wall. 3-1 series lead. 2-2 series tie between Anaheim, Calgary. 3-1 series lead for Washington. Yeah, makes sense. Montreal is up 3-1. St. Louis is up 3-1. Poor Minnesota. San Jose is up 3-1. Pittsburgh is up 3-1. So they couldn't close them out, and Ottawa-Boston's tied 2-2. Yeah, Ottawa-Boston looks like a pretty even series right there. All right, we could have a bunch of series end right here, so you know what? I'm going to keep an eye on it, all right? Nashville and Chicago, Game 5. Can Chicago, Chicago pushes a Game 6. Anaheim, Calgary, who's going to take the advantage? It's the Anaheim Ducks, man. Calgary had a 2-0 series lead. They dropped 3 in a row. Washington versus Toronto in Washington. Could be the last game for Toronto. It is. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, that, you know what? That makes all the sense in the world. One game from Washington, that's it. One game on home ice, either game 3 or game 4, and then the Caps win the other 4. That makes all the sense in the world. All right, so you got the Montreal Canadiens versus the New York Rangers. They can close out the series right here. Can Montreal? They don't. The Rangers, they force a game 6. St. Louis, they can close out the Minnesota Wild. They do. Oh, the Minnesota Wild fans are not going to be liking that. Not at all. A Vezina Trophy candidate in Devin Dubnyk, a great season, all for nothing, with only one win and a first-round exit. Woo! Minnesota, they're not going to like that. All right, so San Jose, can they close out Connor McJesus' season? Simpson next game? Yes, they do. So Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews both only managed to get one game in the playoffs for their team. The future is bright for those youngins. It's all about the veterans, though, in the playoffs. So you got the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Blue Jackets. Can the Penguins close it out this time? No, they can't. So they had a 3-0 series lead, and Columbus has marched back to force a game 6. This is rough. All right, so the most even series so far, I think, Boston and Ottawa. Into the next game, let's see. The Boston Bruins are one game away from making it back to the second round. Okay, boys. So we have a bunch of 3-2 series leads, all game sixes. Nashville versus Chicago. Can the Nashville Predators? No, they don't. It's going to 7 between those two. Anaheim and Calgary. Calgary has lost 3 in a row. Oh, they lose 4 in a row. Calgary, I know what that's like. Colorado, we just had that happen in the Stanley Cup Finals. You go up 2-0 and you lose 4 straight. Woo, that's rough. The Anaheim Ducks, they're a veteran team, though. They've been there before. Okay, so New York versus Montreal. Montreal Canadiens lead at 3-2. Sim to the next game. Let's see. Ooh, the New York Rangers, they forced a game 7. Pittsburgh versus Columbus. This is the game, Pittsburgh. You got to take this. Oh, Jesus. They did get it. They did get it. I thought the Columbus Blue Jackets forced a game 7. So the magical year of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Sergei Bobrovsky, comes to an end, and that idea of a Vezina Trophy winning goaltender needed to win a Stanley Cup, not in this simulation. Both candidates out in the first round. You got the Boston Bruins versus the Ottawa Senators. You know what? I'm thinking this one's going to 7. I have a hunch. Let's see. And my hunch is wrong. The Boston Bruins, Brad Marchand, baby, Pasternak, Bergeron, Krejci, they get the W. 4-2 series win over the Ottawa Senators. Now, 2 game 7s. Chicago, Nashville. Who's going to take this? Who's going to take it? It's going to be the Chicago Blackhawks, boys. They come back in a game 7 and they beat the Nashville Predators. Ooh, the Predators, they're salty after that. And game 7, Carey Price versus Henrik Lundqvist. Who's going to take it, baby? It's going to be Henrik Lundqvist. Oh, the Montreal Canadiens. Looks like they shouldn't have won the Atlantic. They should have dropped to number 2 to face the Bruins or the Senators. Oh my goodness gracious, that's got to tick them off. And so off to round 2, you got Chicago versus St. Louis, Anaheim versus San Jose, Washington versus Pittsburgh, and the Rangers versus the Bruins. So it's interesting. After you see the 16 teams go down to 8, all of a sudden, all those rookie teams, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, all gonzo. All gonzo Alonzo, and welcome back the veterans to the NHL playoffs. So here are your Elite 8. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions for these ones. We're just going to go through it, okay? So let's get, and it'll be a lot faster to sim now because there's only 4 games. So let's get the first 2 games done pretty quickly here. All right, so game 1 for each one. He's got the St. Louis Blues taking the lead in the series. You got the Anaheim Ducks taking the lead. You got the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you got the Boston Bruins. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Sim to the next game, sim to the next game, sim to the next game, and sim to the next game. So, between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks, you have a 1-1 series tie. Actually, you know what? No need to waste time here. Every single series is tied 1-1. Blues, Blackhawks, Sharks, Ducks, Pens, Capitals, and Rangers, Bruins. Yeah, these guys, everyone got by round number 1. It's going to be competitive now, so I'm going to pay attention each game. All right, St. Louis has taken a 2-1 series lead. Anaheim versus San Jose. The Sharks have taken a 2-1 series lead. Washington versus Pittsburgh. The rematch from last year in the second round. Poor Ovi, man. His new damn playoff what's it called? The setup. The President's Trophy winning team's got to go up against Pittsburgh in round number 2. While Boston has to face the Rangers. Sim to the next game. Pittsburgh is up 2-1, and the Boston Bruins versus the New York Rangers. Let's see here. 2-1 in favor of Boston. Did Boston beat the Rangers in 2013? Yeah, I think they faced the Rangers after the Toronto Maple Leaf collapse, right? So, yeah, Boston, the last time they faced the Rangers in the playoffs, they beat them. A lot of rivalries here. A lot of teams that recognize each other. So, a 2-1 series lead for the St. Louis Blues. Let's see. The Chicago Blackhawks, they tie it up. San Jose up 2-1 over the Anaheim Ducks. And they take a 3-1 series lead, poised to get back in that Western Conference final. We go to the powerhouses in the East. What's it going to be? The Pittsburgh Penguins take a 3-1 series lead. What did Pittsburgh beat Washington in last year? It was 5 or 6 games. Oh my God, it's a nightmare for Alexander Ovechkin again. Rangers versus Boston. Boston's got that 2-1 series lead. It is going to be a 2-2 series tie. Okay, so we got 2 series that are tied 2-2, and then 2 other series with teams looking to make the conference finals. So Chicago versus St. Louis. Game number 5, it goes to St. Louis. Chicago can't get a lead in that series. San Jose versus Anaheim. The Sharks have the chance to dine on Ducks and get back to the Western Conference Final. What? Yes, they do. They do it in 5 games. Man, the Anaheim Ducks, they are going to be ticked off after that. They got by the Flames again, and they lose to a veteran squad. You got the Penguins versus the Capitals. Can they close it out? Sim to the next game? No, they don't. Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals, they're fighting for their lives. New York versus Boston. Let's see. Sim to the next game, and the New York Rangers, they're going to take a 3-2 series lead. So we have 3 game 6s on the plate, right, or on the plates, on the schedule right here, boys, on the plates, for God's sakes, what am I even saying? 3-2 series lead for the St. Louis Blues. Can they clinch it? Sim to the next game? No, they don't. The Chicago Blackhawks are going for their 2nd consecutive game 7. They had 7 against Nashville, right? 7 against St. Louis. They're going to be dead tired. Pittsburgh versus Washington. Can the Pens close it out? No, they don't. Alexander Ovechkin said, screw this shit. All right, I don't know how many years left I got. I'm giving it all, baby. He forces a game 7. What a game 7 that would be. Pittsburgh, Washington, round 2, game 7. All right, now you got New York versus Boston. Can the Rangers close it out? Sim to the next game. No, they don't. And we got 3 game 7s. Wow, the San Jose Sharks are sitting back loving this shit. They're just like, oh yeah, boys, just rip each other apart. Just grind on each other. Make it easy for us. So St. Louis versus Chicago. What a game this is going to be. So you know what? 3 game 7s. Fuck it. Let's go into this. This is round number 2. Here we go. Simulate. Yeah. Let's see who steps up for these. All right. So game 7, boys. Chicago hosting St. Louis. First period, it's going to go Paul Stastny and Scotty Upshall. Are you kidding me? Corey Crawford allows 2. Second period, the Chicago Blackhawks, they answer back Artem Anisimov. All right, third period underway. The Blackhawks are going to need something. They allow one early. Alexander Steen reclaims the 2-goal advantage for the St. Louis Blues. The Blackhawks, if they want that 4th Stanley Cup, they got to get one. They do. Duncan Keith, the veteran, stepping up at the blue line. They got 7 minutes left. They had the power play. It's killed off. Are the Blues going to the Western Conference Finals? Are they going to beat the Chicago Blackhawks? Yes, they are. Woo! They're partying in St. Louis, boys. The Blues beat the Blackhawks in Game 7. And that might be all because of Nashville in Game 7. You know, the Blackhawks, they just didn't have anything left. All right, so we got a Blues, Sharks Western Conference Final. That's interesting. Now we jump back to the Eastern Conference. So much is going on, man. I'm tripping over my words. Whatever. Simulate. We gotta push ahead, baby. Game 7 between the Beasts in the East. This would be an incredible game. So let's just watch it. First period, 0-0 tie. So Braden Holtby and Matt Murray, they're playing well for their team. Second period, Tom Kuhnhackl. Tom Kuhnhackl gets the opening goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can the Washington Capitals, they already fought back from being down 3-1. They're down 1-0 here in Game 7. Can they rally once more? Alexander Ovechkin, this may be your last best opportunity, my man. 10 minutes left. Is Matt Murray going to shut the door? The best offensive team during the regular season? Now getting to Game 7 shutouts? Ovi! No, he doesn't get it. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, they beat the Washington Capitals with a game winner from Tom Kuhnhackl. And the Washington Capitals again don't get by the second round. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do oh, shit, the Boston Bruin fans, I'm sorry. I didn't do the real-time simulation. I just quickly simulated and they lost. Oh, Bruin fans are going to be salty with me. All right, hang on a second. I need a drink. All right, that's much better. So, I accidentally simulated ahead when it was the Boston New York Ranger game, just because I was so used to simulating and advancing the day or advancing the games. So it looks like the New York Rangers won Game 7, and they are off to face the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Eastern Conference Finals. So the Sharks versus the Blues and the Rangers versus the Penguins. Interesting. So let's get this started. Let's not waste any time. So simulate if I want to do the real-time simulation. Sim to next game if I want to sim. Okay, now I got it. So St. Louis Blues, man, is this going to be the year of Vladimir Tarasenko and the Blues? A 1-0 series lead over the Sharks in the Western Conference Finals. Oh, there we go. Okay, so game number 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. No, wait. Simulate to the next game between the Pens and the Rangers. Let's see who's going to take it. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are up 1-0. Okay, so remember, all 4 of these teams, they've been behind in the series, I'm sure, at one point, or at least dealt with adversity. So 1-0 series lead is nothing. Sim to the next game. See, 1-1 series tie between the Sharks and the Blues. The Rangers and the Penguins. Sim to the next game. Let's see what we got. And the Pittsburgh Penguins have taken a 2-0 series lead. Now remember, they had leads against Columbus that they blew. They had a lead against Washington that they blew. Pittsburgh, are they going to blow another one, or are they just going to romp and stomp their way to back to the Stanley Cup Finals? So you got Sharks versus the Blues, game number 3. The St. Louis Blues, they take it. Yeah, man, they've been leading in every single series. Pittsburgh versus the Rangers. Let's see. Can the Rags get back in it? Yes, they do. All right, we got a series in both conferences right here. St. Louis versus San Jose. Sim to the next game. We got a 2-2 series tie. Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have a 2-2 series tie. Yep, all 4 of these teams deserve to be here. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Sim to the next game. Let's see. St. Louis, again, for the 3rd time in this series, has taken the lead. San Jose, for the 3rd time, is going to have to look to tie it and then finally win it. New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. 2-2 series tie. Let's see. Are the Rangers? No, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they retake the lead. All right. Are we in for a final? Pittsburgh versus St. Louis here. So game number 6, we might as well do it. Simulate the real game. Let's see. Can the San Jose Sharks, Brent Burns, Joe Thornton, Logan Couture, can they get back in this? They're going to need some good goaltending from Martin Jones. First period, 0-0 tie. Shots are 11-9 in favor of the Sharks. Second period, whoa! Alex Pietrangelo and Vladimir Tarasenko, 43 seconds left in the second to give your team a 2-0 lead. That's a ball breaker right now. The Sharks are going to have to step up. The older Sharks, can they get their legs moving for this 3rd period? They have to tie up this series. They're on front of their home ice fans. Are they really going to drop the ball like this and get shut out? A long power play goes for nothing. It looks like the St. Louis Blues with that good defensive core. Another penalty kill, and the St. Louis Blues, for the first time in franchise history? Have they ever made the Stanley Cup Finals? I can't even remember. They're off to the Stanley Cup Finals, baby. The winner of the Western Conference. Woo, the St. Louis Blues. Very interesting. Okay, so now to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can they close out this series, or will they be forced to go to a Game 7 again? Simulate. Let's take a look at who can step up here for the New York Rangers. Game 6 in Madison Square Garden. First period, we got a 1-1 series, 1-1 tie here in game number 6, right? Justin Schultz and Buchnevich. All right, second period. Oh, we got a 2-1 game. We got a 2-1 lead for the New York Rangers. Ryan McDonough. Oh, getting a goal right there from the slot. He's pinching in. All right, third period. Can the New York Rangers tie up this series? Force a Game 7. Come on now, Pittsburgh. You don't want this to happen again. It's a long power play. Jeez, Jimmy Vesey scores one on the PP. They had like a power play for like 7 minutes right there. It jumped from like 5-on-4 to 5-on-3 back to 5-on-4. The Pittsburgh Penguins really dropped the ball here in the third period. The offense, nowhere to be found. The best offensive team during the regular season. And the New York Rangers once again tie up the series to force a Game 7. All right, so the Pittsburgh Penguins, what is that, back-to-back Game 7s? And the series before that, they had a Game 6 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Man, Pittsburgh, they're just not closing series out. So, no, wait. No, simulate. There it is. Okay, just making sure. So here it is, boys. Game 7 between the Rangers and the Penguins in Pittsburgh. Who's going to step up and be a hero? First period. Oh, we got a tie. Evgeny Malkin. Gino gets one. Just under 15 minutes left in the first, but it's equaled out by Mika Zibanejad, tying up the game with 6:34. Shots are 15-14. Very even. These teams are very even across the board. Second period. Oh! No, they didn't. The New York Rangers, they score 2 in the second period and allow none. Henrik Lundqvist, he's standing on his head. They got Marc-Andre Fleury in the net now. Chris Kreider and Michael Grabner. All right, Pittsburgh, you're going to need a big third period. All these leads that you had during the playoffs, and you just didn't shut the door. You didn't close it down. And now you're trailing in Game 7. You have a power play. They don't score. It's King Henrik's time, boys. Is it the year that that Henrik Lundqvist wins his first Stanley Cup. He's got the opportunity. He's got the Blues in the finals as the Pittsburgh Penguins. They do exactly what they did back in... No, they made the Stanley Cup Finals back in 09-08. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, boys. It's been a long video. What are you going to do? And the finals, you got the New York Rangers versus the St. Louis Blues. Woo-wee! Very interesting. Okay, so I don't want to waste any time. This video is going to be getting kind of long. So we're going to be simulating every game, and I'm not going to take my sweet-ass time, all right? So Game 1 in St. Louis. They have home ice advantage. First period. Let's see. Ooh, we got some goals. Jaskin, Stepan, and Carl Gunnarsson. Second period. It's still the 2-1 lead for the St. Louis Blues. We're not going to do real-time simulation for the third, boys. One button push. The game's over. So 2-1. Can they hold on to it? Oh, they got to go to overtime. Magnus Paajarvi, he gives the Blues a 2-goal lead, but JT Miller and Chris Kreider, goals with less than 30 seconds? Oh my God. Just over 30 seconds, they tie up the game and they force overtime. Shots 35-21 in favor of New York. I'm going to give it to New York, man. Lundy in overtime. Overtime. Oh, they jinxed them, boys. Magnus Paajarvi, his second goal of the game. It's an overtime winner. And the St. Louis Blues, they take game number 1. What did I say? I've been saying this many times over the course of this simulation. The St. Louis Blues are going ahead in every single series, it seems like. Have they won every single first game? Game 1, Game 1, Game 1, and now Game 1 again? I think they have. Jeez, the St. Louis Blues, they're simulating well. Is this the year that the Blues take it? All right, Game 2 in St. Louis. First period, 0-0. All right, shots are 11-4 in favor of the Blues. Not good. Lundqvist, you got to stand on your head. Second period, ooh, the Blues take the lead. Patrick Berglund scores on Lundqvist. Come on now. Oh, my God. The shots are 29-7 in favor of the Blues. They are simulating like gods right now. Third period. Ooh. All right, so Vladimir Tarasenko gets a 2-goal lead. Patrick Berglund gets an empty netter, and then Kevin Klein gets them back within 2 with 55 seconds left. But the St. Louis Blues, they take a 2-0 series lead, winning both games on home ice. All right, the Rangers are in trouble. Now, I think they were down 2-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They came back 2-2. Then they went down 3-2, and then they came back again. So, all they have to do is do what they did twice in the last series. Win 2 in a row, and they're right back in this. So here we go, boys. In Madison Square Garden, the Rangers, on front of their home fans, are trailing the Blues 2-0 in the series. Now's the time to step up, and it's time to step up in a big way. This can't happen to Lundqvist again. It can't, right? 2014? He already lost in the Stanley Cup Finals. You're going to say he's going to lose it again? That's rough. First period. Oh, my God. Vladimir Tarasenko opens up the goal-scoring. Shots are 14-8. The Blues are unstoppable. Second period. Oh, my God. Alexander Steen. He's scoring on his countryman. The super sweet on super sweet, baby. Oh, 2-0 lead. It's going to be a 3-0 series lead. Third period. Oh, my. Yep, it's over. It's over. The St. Louis Blues are dominating here in the playoffs, okay? They absolutely dominating the New York Rangers, who actually played well against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know what it is, but the Blues are just lighting it up. All right, 3-0 series lead. Simulate. I think it's over, man. I think it's over. I don't think there's any way the New York Rangers win 4 in a row. Lundqvist has got to play like a god. He's got to allow no more than like 4 goals over the next 4 games or something. First period. All right, the St. Louis Blues, again, scoring at will, even when the New York Rangers are out shooting them. 12-6 in favor of the Rangers. The score is 2-1 in favor of the Blues. Jaden Schwartz and Vladimir Tarasenko. Oh, yeah, he's done with this. He's winning a Stanley Cup this year. Mika Zibanejad trying to get his team back in it. I don't think it's enough. Second period, yeah, 2-1 lead for the St. Louis Blues. One more period, and they got a Stanley Cup sweep. Third period, they do it! They do it! Kevin Hayes ties up the game with 13 minutes left, but Kyle Brodziak, fourth line center, third line center, whatever he is, maybe he was a shorty, he gets a goal from the half boards, the game winner, and the St. Louis Blues, in a 4-game sweep, they beat the New York Rangers to win their franchise's first Stanley Cup, baby. Congratulations to the St. Louis Blues. So what do you guys think about that? Any chance that the St. Louis Blues sweep the New York Rangers 4-0 in the Stanley Cup Final? Who knows, man? Who knows? So their total record 16-6. So let's take a look at some of these player stats here. Now the player stats should be up. It should be interesting to see who did what for which team. We'll go through every team here, okay? So Derek Stepan for the New York Rangers, 22 points in 25 games played. Crosby 22 and 20. What about Vladimir Tarasenko 21 and 22. So you know what? Let's go through all the teams here and just see who stepped up and who didn't. All right, so Backstrom, 13 assists in 12 games played. Ovi, 10 goals in 12. He probably had all 10 in the first 5 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Ovi, he played well. He still lost, though. Toronto Maple Leafs, Morgan Riley, Austin Matthews, 5 points in 5 games played. I'll take that. Good job, Toronto. St. Louis Blues, here's the Stanley Cup winners. Vladimir Tarasenko, point per game, 12 goals. Yep. Yuri Latara, 18 points. Jaden Schwartz. Yeah, you know what? It's probably because they're good defensive core, like Pietrangelo, Parayko, Bouwmeester. It's not Shattenkirk's. Shattenkirk's not there anymore, but I guess Jake Allen must have had just like godlike, save percentage 9.38. Record of 16-6 and a goals against, so 1.86. So he's going to win the Conn Smythe for sure. For sure. And I don't think it was his individual stats that made him play like that, though. I think it was just the defense. The ability to simulate well defensively for the St. Louis Blues, right? San Jose Sharks, Joe Pavelski, Joe Thornton, Logan Couture, underachieving team right there. Pittsburgh Penguins, Crosby played well. Gensel, 11 points. Malkin did not step up. Kessel did not step up. Did not step up like they did in previous years. Ottawa Senators, that competitive series against the Bruins, Game 6, I believe it was. Yeah, makes sense. Carlson needs to be point per game if they want a chance. Nashville Predators, Ryan Johansson, he was point per game. Victor Arvidsson, 5 points. They need more goals. He had 3 goals, 30-goal season, 3 goals here. Not bad, I suppose. New York Rangers, let's see, Derek Stepan. Rick Nash, 21 points. Yeah, they can score goals in New York. Jimmy Vesey, 17. Let's see what poor Henrik Lundqvist getting swept out in the Stanley Cup Finals. What did he do for them again? Save percentage 9.17 and a goals against 2.58. So you know what? 12 and 12. He actually didn't have that great of a playoff run. It was because of all their comebacks there in the earlier series, right? So hang on. I didn't mean to actually leave that. All skaters. Whoop, hang on a second. All right, Atlantic Division, Anaheim Ducks. Okay, so Ricard Raquel. What about Getzlaf and Perry? Yeah, not the greatest. Perry was only 5 points. Kessler was only 5 points. What about Getzlaf? Getzlaf only 4 points in 11 games played. So he got by the Calgary Flames, but that's about it. Patrice Bergeron, 17 points. Brad Marchand, point per game. Okay, very nice. The Calgary Flames, Johnny Gaudreau, 5 points. Sean Monahan, 4 points. Chicago Blackhawks, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Artemi Panarin, they were up there. Just seemed like the St. Louis Blues were unstoppable. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Cam Atkinson. Where's Atkinson? Where's Cam Atkinson? Did I miss him? Oh my God, Atkinson, no points in 6 games played. Yeah, you can blame him for that. Edmonton Oilers, let's see, McDavid, 5 points in 5 games played. Yeah, the San Jose Sharks were just too much for them. And the Minnesota Wild, yeah, they didn't really score any goals either. Montreal Canadiens, Shea Weber, 7 points in 7 games played. Galchenyuk, Radulov. What about Pacioretty? Pacioretty, 4 points, okay, and then back to the Rangers. So, boys, let me know what you think of this playoff simulation using EA Sports' NHL 17. I don't want to give you any predictions because I don't want to jinx. Maybe I'll go through predictions after round number 1 for you guys, and you guys know the reason. I don't want to jinx my blue and white, right? But I don't think that that's going to happen in the Stanley Cup Finals. The St. Louis Blues sweeping the New York Rangers, right? So, you guys, let me know what you think, and also be sure to check out our website tonight, because for every playoff game, we will be in there watching playoff hockey. I can't wait for it, man. After I upload this, I'm going out to get some brewskis, coming back home, watching some freaking playoff hockey. So I will see you guys in the websites, and I will see you guys in round 2 as well, when the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Washington Capitals. I just said it, bitches. Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.